Hey, so what's up, you guys? Today is delivery day of the Cypress slab, and check this out. Look who's back.
Epoxy resin. I was like, that never said. He goes like, that's not. And I was like,
Well, and we didn't know we had no idea because everything was hard when we first took it out of your house, but we didn't know either. And just because it was a little like yellowish color, the ambient where it turned, I thought maybe the resin wasn't no good. So we really didn't know until we got it back and started getting into it. And then when that top layer came off hard and all that goo was underneath, I was just like, oh, wow.
and he showed me that, and I was like, I've been fighting the urge to pick at that one spot, but I just kept pushing it down, and I was like, you'd think it would hot and hard at some point. And he was like, I guess not. And I was like, oh my God.
Well, and we figured out a lot of those areas that we got through that top layer that did harden. It hardened because it only hardened that little eighth of an inch down. Anything deeper, that was probably tabletop resin. So it was just too thick to fully cure. That's where it should have been a casting resin. But regardless, it's here, it's back, and just in time for Thanksgiving.
I know, we've had people asking.
Come right over here. Check this out. You remember what it looked like?
Yeah.
But in order to push out the lead, they will have to get their fellow shareholders.
It looks so much better.
So take your knuckle. And the reason I tell you that, I got a couple of rules for you, okay?
Okay.
This has been sitting here curing with this oil for about 24 hours now. Before you all start setting a bunch of things on here, this needs 3 days to cure total. So Thanksgiving Day, when you all wake up, feel free to put whatever you want on here. The only reason the oil we used is called Odie's. It's food safe, it's all that stuff. It soaked up about 5 layers of oil. So remember how
it looked thirsty.
Yeah, remember how the guy had used that can and you all said he had shot that?
Dude, it was a million times. I was like,
yeah, so it doesn't absorb as well as pushing. So you kind of take this oil, very little bit goes a long way, and you're kind of massaging it in the wood. So the more you keep doing it, the more it keeps absorbing until those pores finally fill up. And then if you take your knuckle right here like that, tell me what that feels like to you, knowing it's wood.
that feels silky smooth.
That's what I say every time, silk, yeah. I can't find a better word, but it's because, so if you put oil on too heavy, it'll just clog. Mm-hmm. You'll feel some slick spots, but you'll feel really rough spots also. So it's just a little bit of oil each time, and that little buildup clogs all those evenly. But man, what you all had,
So great.
and realistically, like I told your husband, the proper way to have done this was to build a box, to cast the whole thing, because we kept leaking, which we knew was probably going to happen. All this character up here, we started pouring here, but yet the leak happens way over here underneath the table. So all these kind of traveled down, but no more craters to where food and particles are getting in there and all that, man. This is going to last forever. Forever. So Thursday morning, Thanksgiving Day, you all can put whatever. So, and for the first week or so, this is a waterproof coating once it's fully cured. So 2 more days.
Okay.
Any type of soda cans, anything like that sweat normally, just put a coaster down there.
Dude, I bought so many
Yeah,
coasters.
just put a coaster down there just as a precaution. Once you are well past that 3rd day, none of that stuff is going to matter. But you just don't want to leave, the oil is still fresh until it fully cures. You don't want to leave an impression in the oil because then it won't come out.
Yeah.
But it takes 3 days. We're already a day into it, well past 24 hours. But I mean, man, I shaped up these edges. Remember how it looked like?
So much better.
It looked like to me he took a jigsaw and just at an angle cut straight.
Yeah.
And it was very sharp, and I didn't want to take away your all's character. This live edge is beautiful, and I was trying to get the sides to kind of match that a little better instead of looking so wonky.
Yeah.
And then the way that was, I really smoothed all the way around these corners. That way, if somebody hits it, it's not going to hurt them. Yeah. So I mean, it's just now. You know, the bottom is what it, but it is sealed, so it's protected. You're not going to start getting a bunch of stuff to accumulate under here. It is sealed up. But the top was where it was at, and you know, for what it was to what it is now, I mean, we were really happy. Yeah,
Compared to what it was, and I'm very happy.
that's awesome. That's what we like to
So
hear.
happy with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of people watching this progress along the way.
Yeah, every now and then he would show me, and then my parents would be over, so I could show them too. And they're like,
Yeah.
I'm like, ew.
Yeah, and that's everything we go to do in the beginning, all the way through the process. It does. It looks horrible, especially when I'm digging all this stuff out. It looks
Well, my mom was
horrible.
like, "They paid that?" And I said, "It'll look better in the end. I
Yeah.
don't care. It'll look better in the end."
At that point where we were outlining all that black, I know and I always try to get people to see past that. It's hard to do, but when all this stuff is many things as we were doing and is unappealing as it was looking, once it goes to like an industrial planer or an industrial drum sander, all that stuff becomes one. Then when you bring it back, you know, whether you oil it, we could have finished this out with like a tabletop resin. It would have had like a glass top on it. You know, there's several different ways you can go. But
You can already tell it just looks smoother. It looks level
it's level. Yeah,
compared to what it like used to look like.
well, as soon as we took this from you all a couple of months ago and got it back home, I put a level across it, and you could see the cupping, you know, real bad. I didn't notice it as much here, but then when you put a flat bar across it, then you know.
Yeah.
So, you know, we already knew. And that turned out, those bow ties underneath, tell your husband, we thought those were resin, and one of them, in fact, was. The other one was an aluminum bow tie plate. So all the curveballs we had, we get all the way to the planer and think everything's great just to have another surprise as it's coming through. It would not sand that down with the wood.
Yeah.
So the wood's going through the drum sander and it's getting sanded down, and that aluminum is still sticking up. So every pass we had to get out a little small hand sander and sand that metal down so that it wouldn't tear up the machine. It was crazy. But we got it.
I was like, I told him, I was like, we have a knack for getting this table finished around Thanksgiving. I was like, hopefully this may be the last time, because
Always legal efforts to block the takeover.
I don't think that guy
All that's
had
left for him to do is
very
concede.
much know-how on this. I was like,
Well,
after seeing it, I was like, he didn't do very much of anything of what we thought.
no, it's, you know, and that's, there's a lot to it. There is a lot to it. And, you know, there was a day that we were there as well. I think the difference is we would never have done something like this until we felt better about what we were doing. Believe me, over 2 years, I was telling your husband that we failed at epoxy about 10 years ago for 2 straight years. If it was not for our bathrooms and kitchens kind of helping support trying to learn, we would have never made it, because it's very expensive, and every time you mess up, it's just another expense in the bucket.
Yeah.
So those lessons that we learned all those years were very, very pricey, and they hurt. And we got to the point where we had put it down and wasn't even going to mess with it anymore. And then about 6 months went by, and it just hit me like a ton of bricks coming home from work one day. And I had to figure out if I was right, and that was 8 years ago. We've been popping them out ever since.
Yeah.
But there's a lot to it. There is a lot to it.
Yeah, because we had people offering to like, and I was like, no, we'll find somebody. We'll
Yeah.
find somebody.
Yeah. Well, this is, I mean, we were tickled to death. This was a challenge. This is, and just so you know, and everybody at home knows, so this was mine and Tom's first ever doing a redo that obviously somebody had done wrong. We knew that walking into here that it was not right. this was our first one trying to take somebody else's work and make it right. And we've learned a lot from this one right here because, you know, it's very tricky. Again, we made it all the way to the planer and then found yet another surprise. It's hard to know what somebody else truly did until you really get down into it, and then you kind of know what you're up against. And it was a curveball for us. You know, when we start these out from scratch, we control everything, and there's really no surprises. But doing it this way was a challenge, and you know, it definitely fine-tuned us.
I'm about to say, hopefully.
Yeah, we learned a lot from this table ourselves, you know, but we enjoyed it. We enjoyed the challenge, and we're just glad right before Thanksgiving. That was awesome. Because I know y'all were wanting, y'all got family coming over and stuff.
Well, because
So.
people came over Saturday and they were like, because we had a little card table out. And they're like, where's your table? I'm like, it's getting worked on.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
will be here.
Well, normally we would have taken this like a Monday through Friday thing, but you know, under the circumstances, I'm glad it fit you all
Oh, yeah.
to, you know, to let us do it just as a weekend thing only. And that's what I tell everybody at home. That's why it took so long, because we weren't working on it at all Monday through Friday, but we knew y'all loved it. So he said, your husband said he thought he'd be home, but he must have got called into work.
Yeah, I think he was hoping, so I was like,
Yeah, I told him that's all right. When you get home, man, it'll all be worth it.
Yeah.
So I'm just really excited and happy for you guys. I'm glad we could come through. And, you know, like I said, man, this will last you all forever.
yeah, because I was like, I don't ever want another table. Like, if it gets finally finished right, I'm like, I don't ever want another table.
Yeah.
Probably new chairs, but never want another table.
Well, if y'all ever go down this road again, you got my number.
Oh, yeah.
Now
for
call
sure.
us the first time around,
Yeah,
and
for
we'll,
sure.
we'll get you
For
together.
sure.
So,
Well,
well,
they
hey,
just showed me y'all's bathroom time. I'm like, I don't want to do that. I'm like, no.
yeah. Well, we appreciate everything.
I appreciate it.
Thank you all so very much.
Thank you.
Glad Tom's back, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, he ain't been here in a hot minute. We were glad to have him back. So, till the next one, you all, thanks for coming and being a part of our reveal. We appreciate everything, and we'll see y'all back on the next one real soon.